Well, hi, everyone. Greetings and good afternoon to all. Uh, Thank you for accepting our invitation for this webinar titled Redesigning the Ultimate Student Onboarding Experience. Today, we have the pleasure to have Indra Paola Peláez. She is the Associate Vice Chancellor of Enrollment, Management and Success at Houston Community College, one of our member institutions in Texas. Today we have more than 90 people registered, participants from institutions in Puerto Rico, and also we have from the US, like Board of Manhattan Community College, College of Staten Island. We also have from Hostos Community College, La Guardia Community College, Sacramento State in California. So good morning for you because you are in the West Coast. And because of the time change, everybody is in different time. We also have from California State University San Bernardino. Good morning for you as well. And we also have from University at Albany, Eastern State Connecticut University, and we also have from New Mexico State University and Palm Beach State College. Hi, Eileen. She's always with us. Thank you for following us and always be there. Greeting to all. We hope that this webinar will be of great benefit from everyone. So far, we have more than 40 people live, and we hope that the rest can enter very soon. But we always remember to everyone, especially the ones that this is the first time, that HEAD's priority and commitment is to support and serve our more than 40 member institutions in Puerto Rico, Latin America, and the United States, and other institutions who participate and are invited to join us of these webinars as well. And we also have teachers from the K-12 education system, either private or public here in Puerto Rico, and from others as well. So welcome to everyone. Today's webinar during this webinar, Indra will share how the Registration Redesign Task Force identified challenges in the current admissions and registration process and provide recommendations for eliminating the challenges and or implementing enhancements. As a result, in April 2019, a new and improved admissions application was launched since prior to the implementation of the online application. Continuing education students, adult education, and international students were required to submit a paper application. So today we're going to learn how to transform and redesign this experience for the students, for the benefit of the students. Before we begin today's topic, we invite you to use the chat to write your questions or doubts. In our interest is that you clarify any information that Indra will be sharing with us today. We ask you to keep your microphones mute to avoid interruptions, as this webinar is being recorded for the reference of you, and also to share through our social media and in our website the link to others that could not join us live today. The recording, as you may know, can be found in the same page where you register in the next 24 hours, usually. We also remind you that in the next events section of our homepage, heads.org, you can find all the topics that we will be offering during this semester in English and Spanish. And we invite you to register to separate your space and participate. The rest of the webinars that we will be having in November and December are totally free of charge. And the next one's going to be in Spanish. And we're going to share el modelo multiestratégico para la enseñanza efectiva en línea and that will be presented by his author, Dr. Jose Ferrer Lopez, that he have been with us before. He is the the director o catedrático asociado de Continuing Education and Distant Learning at the Recinto Mayagüez campus of the University of Puerto Rico. This will be at 3 p.m. Because since he is from Puerto Rico, we decide to leave the same hour that we usually are used to, 3 p.m. In the case of Indra, since she's in the central time, we move the hour for her convenience. But with Jose, we can definitely be at 3 p.m. So next webinar gonna be on November 12th, next Thursday at 3 p.m. Okay, and we also have one webinar the next day, November 13th. That's going to be in Spanish, and the title is Mercadea tu marca personal. That will be presented by Dr. Naomi Curet Molina. She is associate catedrática asociada de la Escuela de Ciencias Sociales y Humanas de Ana Geméndez en Carolina. Esto va a ser a las 10 de la mañana, de 10 a 11, hora de Puerto Rico. Okay, vía Zoom. Lo de los estudiantes lo hacemos vía Zoom. Pueden entrar y por favor ayudarnos, ¿verdad? Help us to promote this among their students, your students. Finally, participants, as you may know, who are interested in receiving the certificate of participation, please send us an email at info@heads.org. And remember to put the name, your full name, the date and the title, or you can reply the link message that you receive for this webinar, and then please please send me the certificate, because we already have know that you're talking about this webinar, but please include your full name, because sometimes the email doesn't have the full name. Okay, this is very important. And you will be receiving the webinar, the certificate of this webinar during the next 2 weeks, since we always allow 7 days for receiving all the emails, and then in the next week, then we'll be preparing all the certificates and will be sent. Okay, if you in 2 weeks you didn't receive the certificate, please follow us, send us an email and following us with us. We definitely will be taking care of you. Remember that also you have the opportunity to receive a certificate of continuing education through the office of at the Inter-American University, which is our host institution, and this have a cost of $5 per certificate. You just need to follow the instructions below the registration form for this webinar, and there you have the phone and the email to request it, and the link to make the payment. Okay, any questions, please let us know. Now we are ready to start our webinar. I am pleased to present our speaker today. I already said her name and her titles, but for the ones who just join us, is Alondra Paola Peláez. She served as the Associate Vice Chancellor of Enrollment Management and Success with Houston Community College, and Ms. Peláez is responsible for improving the Houston Community College admissions and registration experience, and her responsibilities include overseeing the acquisition of a transcript evaluation software, implementation of Hobson's Intersect platform, and developing a CRM business process mapping for a common onboarding experience for all students. Her passion is based on the belief that education is the foundation necessary for students to build and strengthen their communities, achieve their personal and professional goals, and increase future economy opportunities for themselves and their families. Excellent belief, Indra. Now, please welcome Indra, who will be with us during this presentation. Remember, at the end of the presentation, you can write your questions at the chat. Angelique and me will be sharing this with Indra, so she can reply any questions you may have. So, adelante, Indra. Please start your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eubaris, for the introduction. And it is an honor and pleasure to be here with everyone from the U.S. that was mentioned and Puerto Rico. I was just reminiscing about the fact that I was supposed to go to Puerto Rico in January, and then Maria came, and other hurricanes came, and then, COVID-19 arrived. So a lot of things have changed. So I'm glad that
the earthquake. And the earthquake.
Yes, earthquake. Too many. It's too many challenges that along this year. But I appreciate I appreciate the time that you're giving me to share the experiences and the improvements that we're making at Houston Community College. So, because we have a diverse audience, I want to give an overview of HCC, who we are, our student population, who do we service. Then I'll go into the admissions application redesign process, the steps that students have to enroll at HCC, our new student homepage, and our COVID-19 response. Before I start with the formal topics, I want to share a little bit about myself and why the onboarding experience is so important for me. I'm originally from Guatemala. As some of you were in the call earlier, my dad is from Cuba, and then he lived in Guatemala. At the age of 16, I told my dad I want to go to Chicago, live with my godmother, and learn English. I'll come back and study in Guatemala. Many years later, I never went back. I stayed in Chicago for 20 years and, learned English, learned, the different ways to enter college. It was a challenging experience, but I was very fortunate to have mentors along the way to help me and to guide me through the process. And after 20 years, both as a student and employee of City Colleges of Chicago, I had the pleasure to transition to Houston Community College, where, now I have an opportunity to make an impact for prospective students. I want to make sure that the entrance and the admissions process is improved so that we can minimize students getting frustrated and just going somewhere else. So that's why this is important for me. So now that I've shared about me and why it's important, HCC is a diverse community college. We service over 106,000 students yearly. 40%, close to 40% students are Latinos. Our next big population is African American with 28%. And then you can see the percentage of white and Asian students. And this is the last certified enrollment data that we have for 2018-2019. So as and we have a lot of first generation students who did not have the opportunity to have parents who went to college. So this is the students that we service. To give you more information about HCC, we're #1 in serving international students. We have over 7,000 students that come from many countries, including Vietnam, Mexico, Nigeria, China, and India. And then we have top institutions that our students are transferring to, and we continue to work partnerships both outside the US and in the US to make sure that our students have smooth opportunities to transition to four-year universities. We have, typically we have more females than males enrolled at HCC. So we have 57,000 females and 45,000 males. And you can see the age group. The majority of our students are between 18 to 22. And we have the non-traditional that, fall under the 23 to 30 year age gap, and then 31 and, and 50. And of course, we have over 50 for the age, and those we have special programs for senior citizens that are interested in returning back to school. The last thing I wanted to share is we have over 21 locations across Houston, and it's very spread out. We have 6 main colleges and an online college. So having a consistent system for our students is super important to make sure that they get the same service that they have in one location versus the other, or if they're doing it at the comfort of their home, like they're doing it now for COVID-19 reasons. So when we started the work for the readmissions application, we wanted to look at what can we do to improve the business process. We had paper applications, as Yubelkis mentioned. We had a paper application for our continuing education population, our adult education, adult high school, and international students. And it was very hard to track students that had applied. Papers were getting, misfiled, or we would get, information, but then if we lost that team member, it was very hard to, track that paperwork. So it was evident that we needed to make sure we had the proper method to get the students in. So the collaborative group, it was a collaborative effort with different expertise. We had IT, we had enrollment team, advising, academics, different people with different lenses give us input on what should be the best way to help students. So we did process maps. What does the student go through to get to HCC? What are the pain points, and what can we do to redesign the onboarding admissions application? And I apologize for if you see some background, it's my new coworkers here walking around. But they wanted to make sure, we wanted to make sure that we had, one entry point. So after we built out the process maps, we looked at, all the potential students that we can get. We created the new student admissions application. The students had an opportunity to start the application and save it. Before, if they started an application and they didn't complete it, we would never know because it was a manual process. So now we have that, and we can track prospective students that start an application and students that complete an application, and it helps us with the funnel, like how many applicants have perspectives, how many students convert. So that's very good to know, so that we know, okay, where are we lacking enrollment and how can we help enrollment grow. So from this, from the previous page, they would click and they would select their pathway. If they're a degree-seeking student, Texas has a common application. So if they're a degree-seeking student, they will follow the traditional Apply Texas admissions application process. And we also look at those admissions applications. We look at incomplete applications. We look at completed applications. The file, when we redesign the process, we used to get the file once a day. Now we get the file 3 times a day. We get it at 7 a.m., 12 noon, and at 3 p.m. to make sure that we have instant support for those students. So as soon as we get the admissions application, it gets loaded into our PeopleSoft system, and then students get a welcome email from our chancellor with their student ID number. So that's instant information that the students receive with the information of their next steps. For F1 students, the students that are looking to apply for a visa, those students will follow the traditional application that we created for our students. So that's not through Apply Texas, that's the one that we created. And if they need to upload different type of documentation to get into the United, they have that capability now. Before, they would scan documents, mail them in. Sometimes they would get here, sometimes they wouldn't get here. Sometimes they will email documents. So it was very challenging to track them. Now we have one mechanism where we can download the documents through the upload in PeopleSoft. Continuing education, even though it's not a large group of students, we wanted to make sure that we gave them an equitable opportunity to join the college experience. So these are the students that would take short-term certificate courses to get into the workforce. Again, we were able to get that, application set up for them, as well as adult education students that are learning English as a second language or completing their GED. Lastly, the adult high school is for those students that were missing a couple of credits. So it was a credit recovery program, and it was, a referral type of process. Now we have that application where the counselor, can tell the student to apply, and then we can communicate with the counselor and make sure that the student follows through. So this has made significant progress for our enrollment and admissions process. And since we launched the new admissions application, we've had multiple number of applications come through. So, we can track, how many completed applications, how many have application progress, and we have different communication campaigns, not just, we have text message campaigns, and we can check the analytics of, who, if we sent an email, who opened the email, who unsubscribed from our messages. So we want to make sure that we are sending messages that are strategic, not every day, because we don't want the students to block us or to unsubscribe because we're sending too much information. So we pull the data, we slice the data, and then we communicate with students based on where they are to the best of our ability. So for a semester credit student, these are the typical steps to enroll. There may be some variations if something comes along the way. But you submit an admissions application through Apply Texas, and we always encourage students to do their financial aid application while they're working on something else. If they're under the age of 22, Texas has a requirement for a meningitis record. So this is something that we had to adjust how we process that, because in the past, you have to have it no matter what. It's still the law, we still comply with the law, but if the student is taking online classes, the student is exempt from that requirement during that term that he or she is only taking online classes. If the student is taking classes that are lab-based or flex campus, which require the student to come in the college, then we would need those records in order, for the student to be in compliance. So that we had to adjust the programming for that so that it wouldn't stop enrollment from online-based courses. If the student has transcripts, we encourage students to submit their transcripts electronically so that we avoid getting mail lost. We have one person right now that is going to our district office to retrieve transcripts, scan those transcripts, and then connect it to the student record. But it's a lot easier when we get it electronically. So we try to be very, transparent with the student to let them know, please submit those transcripts electronically. And if they have test scores, we do the same thing with that. So we try to use multiple measures as, to give students an opportunity to, get placed according to what they have. And that's, something that came as a result, of course, of COVID-19 and the reaction to help students. So that's part of the college readiness requirements. We have multiple placement options. Texas uses something that's called the TSI, Texas Success Initiative Assessment. And so if the student has college, ACT scores or a college level examination program exam, we will take that as well, or an AP advanced placement exam, we will take that as well. And before they can enroll in classes, they take a career coach assessment that's all inside their student portal. And that's to help them decide what major they need to pursue. Because when they fill out an application, sometimes they just fill random information, but when they don't know what they want, and we want to make sure that they're in the right career path, because financial aid won't cover courses outside their career path. So we always tell them, please take care of the career coach with the advisor. And we used to have orientation in person. COVID-19 changed that. So now we have orientation online where students do that at their leisure of their, on their own time. And we still can check career coach assessment results for the student. If the student after doing that is still undecided, that's when they are required to meet with an advisor to register for the first semester of classes. So we want to make sure that they have those intentional conversations with their advisors so that they can finish classes, finish their career path in the shortest amount of time without wasting effort, money, without wasting their financial aid because they were taking other classes that were not part of their curriculum. So I mentioned the student page. Every student that I shared earlier, continuing education, adult education, international student, semester credit, all the student type get this access to this student homepage. The student homepage has multiple tiles, and it gives a student an opportunity to look at the information that they have available. For instance, the first tile is the Student Services Seminar. As a result of COVID-19, we had to ensure the students knew what resources were available online and what resources were available in person, or we're going transitioning in person, since we started transitioning a few services to the colleges this semester. So we had a PowerPoint presentation created, added a survey to know if this was something that they received well or if they needed something else. And if we see that they need something else outside the presentation provided, we reach out to them. So I get this report downloaded every day and send it to the contact center so that they can do follow-up with those students. And it's not something that we do sporadically. It's something intentionally every day, 6 a.m. This report, it's run and sent to a person to follow up with these students. Our checklist items is some of those items that help us with our student types. So we have 2 types of checklist items that our students are responsible for completing throughout the admissions process. We have policy checklist items to help us stay in compliance. We have Title IX. Students have to watch a presentation and complete a short quiz, and they have to pass with an 80% or more. And we also have campus carry as part of policy checklist items so that they are aware of the law and what are the responsibilities. Again, they have to take the quiz. A couple of 2 items that fall under policy are reaffirmation. If the student has been out of the system, not taking classes for 1 whole year, then they have to reaffirm a few questions before they can get term activated again. And financial responsibility is making sure that they understand if financial aid doesn't cover their full tuition, they're responsible for covering the tuition and expenses. So those items will fall under the checklist items. We also have the onboarding checklist items. And you've seen most of them in the previous slide, but that includes the new student orientation, career assessment, meningitis, and update contact information. We want to make sure that we have the most up-to-date information, because if there's an emergency on campus, we want to make sure that we can connect with the student. And most recently, we had to add another one on their other to-do list, and that was COVID-19 prevention training. Since we started, offering classes in person this fall semester, and we're offering some classes in the spring, we wanted to make sure that our students were educated and were aware of what was needed of them in order to keep everyone safe. So that's another checklist item that they'll see. Message center is the next tile, and that's where we send communication to students regarding payment deadlines, registration deadlines, and anything that's happening in the semester. Managed classes is where students register for courses, and before they can register for classes, they have to complete all the onboarding checklist items. For adult education and continuing ed classes, students have their own tile. They register for those classes. And semester credit students can see their academic progress. So this is a really unique tool that we didn't have in the past. So I'm so excited to have this for our students. Academic records gives you a breakdown of the classes that the student has taken throughout their time at HCC. And then profile has the base demographic information that a student can see, and including their student ID number. Financial account gives an overview to the student on how much is their tuition. If it's an in-district person, out of district. In district is if they live within the boundaries of the tax district that we offer classes, out of district or out of state for international students. And then if they're receiving financial aid, on the next tile they will see how much their award package is, and they will have the opportunity to click and accept that. The Student Center, which is called Classic Enroll Financial Aid, that tile is only available for students that were previously enrolled prior to the rollout of this, which any student prior to 2019 will get this tile. If a student is applying for spring or fall 2021, they wouldn't see this, because this is something that was available for previous students, and we kept it there as we completely transitioned the old classic view of PeopleSoft to the new Fluid. So that's going to go away. COVID-19 just changed our timeline, so it's going away pretty soon. And then Eagle Resources, that's where we uploaded a lot of our how-to guides, job aids, videos, any resource that, that we thought it was necessary for our students' mental health, every resource you can possibly think in one place. So students can see this under that Eagle Resource title. So you've seen how we, how we redesigned the admissions application, the steps for students to enroll, the new student homepage, and COVID-19 was not part of our original plan when we in the registration redesigned for task force, but it helped us get on our feet a lot quicker than anticipated because we had already created job aids. Most of our job aids are in English right now, and we're slowly adding everything to Spanish. So it's taking time for me to make sure the translation makes sense. And eventually, my goal is to have it in Vietnamese because that's the one of the top countries that we have for international students. And then the how-to videos, we had 0 videos when I went when I obtained this position. Now we have 10 videos, and those videos have been very popular for our students, and it came very handy during COVID-19 because students, if they had a question and, they were getting stuck, we don't have the same view that the student view has at this point. So my staff view is way different. So when I'm helping a student, I refer to those videos. We try to do video chats as well, just so that I can see what the student is doing in order to assist the student. We're also in the process of acquiring our virtual campus tours software so that we can get potential prospects from all over, not just Texas, but the US, international students. So that's something that we're working on, and we're looking forward to getting that started. The CRM implementation, we have began that CRM implementation. As you saw earlier, we have a large, complex institution, so it is taking a project management team, a cross-functional team with different expertise, looking at our business processes, looking at where we can start. So the phase 1A, because there's going to be different phases for one, we will have the communication automated processes, because a lot of the communications that we have, there's got to be a manual touch. So hopefully with the new CRM and in the fall of 2021, we should be able to upload our student, our students should be able to upload, the student records should be automatically uploaded to the CRM, and then the CRM should be able to automatically send out communications to those prospective students, and we will be able to see the conversion rates, from applicant or incomplete application to applicant to a registered student. So I'm really excited about that. We have some mechanisms in place right now using Tableau to check conversion rates, to check applications. We put different pieces together, so it's like a big puzzle. So I'm excited that I can see everything in one space. And we continue to look at tools to process documents faster. Laserfish is something that we're looking at for our admissions documents to make sure that we can track when the document was submitted, where the document is, because if we have 6 colleges and the student might have submitted the document via an email to a person or an email that they saw on the website, we want to be able to track where that document is. That was one of the points that we discovered during the pandemic. Students were just sending stuff everywhere because they wanted a response, and it took us a moment for us to react and be at the same speed of our students. But I think we're getting better at it. We're not in a perfect world yet. Another COVID-19 response that we created was called a virtual lobby that's on our main page, and that gave us an opportunity to have one entry point for students to submit questions. So far, since the beginning of March 13, when we went completely remotely, we've had over 50,000 students reach out to us via the virtual lobby. They can reach out to us using a email, just sending us an email. They can contact us through our chat mechanism, through phone call. We have a contact center that we take, all of our calls, and we most recently implemented the Zoom virtual space where students can, come in and ask questions. And now we have a few services at various locations. We have admissions, advising, testing, and financial aid at the colleges by appointment. So students make an appointment. We make sure that we call the student prior to their appointment to make sure that they bring the documentation that they need in order for us to assist them. And sometimes after we call the student to let them know, okay, this is what we need, they send us the documentation, and they don't need to come in person after all. But we're making sure that students, have multiple opportunities to connect with us. It's very hard to make that connection with students in a virtual space. So we're trying our best to make sure that students feel supported. Some students prefer the virtual world. Others prefer to see somebody in person. So we're trying our best to do that. And I'm looking at see if I missed anything. I think that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions from the group?
Yes, Indra. Dr. Milagros Varas is asking if you get any upload from the IT department, what you design and require. Although she's also saying that's an excellent student homepage.
So thank you. So the upload for applications, the upload for prospective students.
Yelisa, si quieres, activate the microphone so Milagros can.
Yeah, I just activate the microphones, Dr. Varas, if you want to talk or prefer to write on the chat.
I think she asked for the upload for the documents.
No, I'm asking about, hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm asking about the upload for, I want to know how much help do you get from your IT department when you're designing, especially your student homepage, which was excellent. How much of the design is you all in a committee, and then what you design gets uploaded technically? I mean, the IT gets to input that.
So
how much help do you get from the IT department? Because that's a problem we have in Puerto Rico.
So it's an excellent question. So our IT department has been very supportive throughout the process. The design of the student homepage, if I go back to that, oops, this one, the icons of this homepage, it was designed by communications. And then IT told us how big or how, what format we needed to provide to them. It was not a decision that was made alone. So it was a group decision that was looking at the pictures, what made sense for the students. So that, was a collaborative effort. But IT has been very supportive. And it was a chancellor's directive that we needed to improve the admissions and onboarding process. So we were very fortunate to have the support of IT. Because without IT, we couldn't be where we are today.
Thank you very much. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
I also have a question, Indra. Let me activate the camera. Hold on for a second. Okay, I don't wanna. I try to put a mute so we don't have the feedback. The feedback fed, and everybody's have the microphone. Do you have any? It's super interesting what you just presented. Thank you so much. And I'm just wondering what have been the feedback of the students, because you launched this before COVID, and I guess that after COVID, then they definitely see the value, how the students have, if that you have received any feedback from them?
I have.
Regarding
We
that?
had a Yes, ma'am. That's an excellent question. We also had a student representative as part of the
Mhm.
readmissions redesign project, and in any project that I embark, I always try to have somebody from the student, student council or one of the students that I had contact with in the past. I want to make sure that we get feedback. So the feedback that we that was most positive came from international students because they
Mhm.
had the opportunity to upload all their documents and apply in one space. So we received direct feedback, that this was a very much improved process for them. Our continuing education students, I didn't receive much feedback, but we did reduce the duplicate student issue because before we had
Uh-huh.
so many duplicate records. So
Yes.
since the launch of this admissions application, we've reduced our duplicates by 80%. It's not a
Wow.
perfect world, but we still see duplicates because students sometimes submit one admissions application and they forget about it, and then they'll submit another one. They
Yes.
transpose their date of birth, or they were previously married, now they're single. So
Mhm.
we still have that, and we have a business analyst that looks at the incoming applications, and if they see something that is closely matching, we connect with that
Mhm.
student and say, have you ever applied? This looks like you applied before. So we try to clean it up before they proceed with enrollment. And
Excellent.
then for
That's
semester
super.
credit, the students love the videos. The students absolutely love the videos, and they're the ones that give us
Mhm.
ideas like, have you thought about making this video? So all the videos that we
Mhm.
made are based on the feedback that we receive from our students.
Excellent. And a final question. I just stopped sharing the presentation so we can see you better.
Oh, yes.
Uh, yeah. And by the way, talking about the presentation, is it possible to receive like a PDF so we can share not only the video, also
Of
the
course.
presentation as a reference because it's super neat. I love the background and the way that you presented very easily and visual. And so others can take some ideas from what you have proved that have been working for you in
Mhm.
Houston Community College that you serve more than, how many you said, students? More than
It's over
60,000.
100,000. It's over 100,000 students yearly
Oh,
from the different
wow.
career types. So we have semester credit, continuing ed, adult ed, and so it's over 100,000 students. And I cannot
Oh,
say I'm
wow.
only serving semester credit students. I gotta
Uh-huh.
be very cognizant about the support that we provide to the different and mid type. So we're always working
Mhm.
and refining. You find
Mhm.
processes that you thought were gonna be perfect, and then you learn, no, this is needs a little bit of refinement. So it's a continuous
Yeah.
improvement plan that we have, and that we stop and analyze, and then this is not
Mhm.
working, or we need to readjust. COVID-19 came, and it
Yeah.
really made us change a lot.
No, but at least you have something in place because some institutions haven't have anything. That as comprehensive as what you were explaining, because some of them have some, but not, with the whole variety of services that you can provide in just one platform. So it's awesome. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
And I know that you were supposed to come to share this presentation at the Best Practices Showcase that we have in February. But then the
Yes.
COVID and then the earthquake and all the things that happens, you couldn't. So we are so glad that you were able, Vela, to share in this, and it's recorded, so we can definitely share that so others can also learn from your excellent experience. Any other questions? We still have time, either in the chat or you can also activate
Yubeldis,
the microphone.
we have Doctora Graciela Tesan.
Hello.
That has
Hi, I'm Dr. Graciela Tesan. I have a question regarding how the administration took this, like the people doing the process of admissions. I see that obviously this was a very necessary change for students to find to find the system or the process clearer. But what was the reception of all these changes in the people that were processing these new applications and with the system? Were they extremely happy, or how did you get them on board to this new process?
Excellent question. So we had a team, and the front line was included in this decision-making process. So we started with over 100 people on the big group, and after we were given the task from the Chancellor's office, we said, this is the purpose of this registration redesign task force. We need people that are interested in helping us redesign this. And we received volunteers based on the email that the Chancellor sent. From there, we divided ourselves into smaller groups in order to complete the work. And they were very receptive because they wanted to help the students. It was something we told them, this is going to help us achieve greater results for Houston Community College. If we have a higher enrollment rate, that means, we're healthy and the enrollment, we're helping students, we're changing lives. So I was fortunate. And it's something that we didn't design from the district office. They helped us design because we created process maps and we saw where the pain points were, and we didn't identify the pain points as their fault, because it's not their fault that the system was not working how it should have been working. So we didn't give them, we didn't say it's your fault, it's not working. It's like, okay, this is where we see the pain points. How can we fix it? And then together we work. Even faculty were, part of the process. They helped us redesign the wording of the admissions letters. So English faculty were part of it. Different faculty members were excited about it because they want to make sure that our students are getting onboarded, because we lose a lot of students just at the onboarding process. So we don't want to lose the students. We want to make sure that they get in, and once they get in, of course, we have other support systems so that they can stay and complete their certificates or associate's degree and then transfer to a four-year institution or go into the workforce.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. I see your son Indra in the background.
I'm
So
sorry,
cute.
my coworkers.
That's the new reality of everyone. So don't worry. So funny. Anyway, any other questions? We still have more than 40 people connected, so this is a time. Perfect timing for any other questions. It could be in Spanish because Indra speaks perfect Spanish. Go ahead.
Well, if nobody else has a question, I do have another question.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, go ahead. Please say your name.
So, yes, it's again me, Graciela Tesan.
Okay, gracias.
Sorry, since nobody else is asking questions, I'll take the opportunity. What kind of videos did you? I know that you are saying that you built this. You are still building the videos, but which one was the first one that you thought that students had to have in order to easy this process?
So the first one, it was the overview of the new student homepage. So I was very fortunate that one of the employees from the previous Houston Community College location where I was working had to, come down to a part-time position, and he's very talented. And so he worked with the enrollment process. So I said, what do you think is the best video to go with? And because this was a totally new way of navigating the system, we created the overview of the student homepage. The next video was the checklist items, because we wanted to make sure that students knew what they needed to complete in order to enroll for classes. The third video, I can't remember, but we have 10. But those were the first two videos.
And I think that it's actually very, that was an excellent video to start, because something that I noticed with my first freshmen is that if they are coming from high school, or even the ones that are in adult education, the university environment is so different. So as we get a couple of years working, you go, okay, I know how to navigate this. And we forget how complex the system is and we forget that probably they are used to either reading Facebook or video games websites, and now they have to navigate this very complex system that has, and I see that even though it's extremely streamlined, it's an easy interface, you have how many tabs in that screen. So this is a lot of information for them to track, and this is not necessary information that they know they have to do it. So I think that, yes, definitely it's a very good start, exactly how to navigate that homepage.
I think the third one was payment, how to pay if they were not financial aid students, if I recall correctly. But a lot of things have happened since then.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
And
Yes.
in that same topic, Indra, did you have some kind of student representation in the team?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I guess having their perspective is more easily to see how they think about this new
Yes.
tool. So great.
Yeah, I can't come up with what they need. I mean, there's some main points that I have identified, but it's really good to know from them, like, this is what we're looking for, this is what we need. And so we try to accommodate the needs of the students.
Great, excellent. So any other questions?
Yes. I
Will
want
we
to see
take
the
a picture
videos.
of the videos? Okay, but you have to share.
Hold on a
You
second.
can share the screen. You open it in the screen first, and then share the screen, as you already know how to. So in the meantime, Indra is looking for the video. Any other question? Remember that next week we have on Thursday a webinar at 3 p.m. Hora de Puerto Rico, because this one is in Spanish. So it's Hora de Puerto Rico, and then on Friday a las 10, Hora de Puerto Rico, for students. We have topics. You just need to register to receive the link. And remember to request the certificate, because as soon as we finish this webinar, the chat is erased. So we need you to send us an email to request the certificate, and will be sent in the next 2 weeks.
Are you able to see my screen? You probably still see the discussion topics.
No, now you just, yeah, I'm see the discussion topics, yeah. Remember, if the
there it
video have audio, you have to check in the bottom, before you share, you have to click that says share the audio.
Okay, hold on. Share files.
And then when you open the file, you will see, ask you if you want to share. It's like a box that you have to check if you want to share the audio. In the bottom on the left.
I got it.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. It's first time I'm using Blackboard Collaborate, so I need a tutorial myself.
I know. It's not that difficult. So,
okay. So these are all the tutorials that we have created. Oh, we created how to drop a class. So, and we recently created the how to apply using the Apply Texas application. So this is the overall navigation. This
Welcome
is
to the new
first one.
Improved Student
we can hear.
In this short video, we will be doing an overview of the new student homepage at Houston Community College. After inputting your login information and signing into your student account, the new and improved student homepage will appear with a set of user-friendly tiles. Starting at the top left-hand side of the screen, we have the checklist tile. Accessing this tile will allow you to view the HCC policy checklist on
Super nice. It's like a tutorial. How long is it? How many minutes?
student holes.
Hold on, let
Returning
me
to the
see.
new student homepage, the second user-friendly tile on the top
It's
row,
5 minutes. I don't know if we
Message
have
Center.
5 minutes.
It's super nice because when
Allow-
students struggling with the language, it's super nice that you put captions. So because not everyone.
is a mode of communication.
Yeah, so I sent the
Help.
link to the group or to you, to somebody. Because I know this session ends at 3 p.m. Unless you all want to see it, I'm happy to put it back on.
I just shared the link on the general chat, so everyone is able to see it there.
Okay. So do you want to continue viewing it, or would you like me to stop?
Is that the tutorials are open to everyone in your website?
Yes, yes, it's open. It's on the main page, one of the main pages for HEC. So
Okay, the link that Jelixa shared in the
yes.
chat. Okay, they had the chat. They had the chat already. No, it's okay because well, I think that I guess that the person wants to have like an overview, but super nice. That you were able to share this. Any other questions? Since we like to be very restricted with the time because we know that everybody have busy agendas, and also it's a weekend. It's Friday. Any other questions? No, as you can see the chat. I don't know if you can see the chat, Indra, but everybody's saying everything was excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Eileen, always for your feedback. And yes, it's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Because this week have been very intense, not only because of work, but because of the elections that's still going on and on and on, especially, in Puerto Rico and also in the States. So thank you so much for taking out of your busy agendas to be here with us and with Indra. Indra, I'm so happy that you finally made this presentation. That was one of the highest scores when you submitted for the evaluation committee for the best practices showcase. So finally, we were able to have you. And we hope that next time it could be face to face and you can come back to Puerto Rico. And please, thank you to everyone. We will be sending reminders by the way, of the webinar and also of the best practices showcase, because the call for proposal for the next one is already sent. It will be virtual on February, but we need you, if you're interested in sharing your initiative like Indra did with this one, please be thinking on what you want to present so you can send your proposal. It will be all of you will be receiving this invitation as well. So thank you so much, Jelixa. Anything else that you may want to add? Also the journal, right? The journal will be published by the week of November 16th. So expect that as well. I have excellent articles, more than 10, right, Jelixa? How many we have already?
Yes, 10.
10 that were reviewed by the editorial board, and the topics are very pertinent for this new academic scenario. So we hope that you can benefit from this as well. So thank you, Indra. Take care. Be well. Say hi to your kids, beautiful kids. And thank you for your time. Valuable collaboration. We always appreciate. And thank you so much to everyone for your time. Have a wonderful day. Take care and weekend.
Thank you, and I'll send you the presentation. Muchas gracias.